here we go. I'm gonna start the recording now. Sorry for those that missed the intro, but we're gonna go ahead, lie on your back, have your strap nearby as you lie down. And just go ahead and take a nice deep breath so you can allow yourself to relax into the ground. And then let's go ahead and bring the right knee to the chest. You're going to take your strap and can you put it right in front of the heel just so that we'll be able to really reach through the center of the leg. And you can hold the strap with both hands. And then you can take your left leg straight out on the ground. So right leg is up towards the sky. And give yourself as much strap as you need to in order to straighten your right leg as much as possible. Can you drop back into your deep breathing? And on the leg that's on the ground, can you lengthen out? So from the inner thigh of the leg on the floor, can you lengthen that leg all the way out? There's tone at the inner thigh, reaching all the way out towards the ball of the left foot, the leg on the ground. And then let's take the strap in your right hand and your left arm out to the side. All right, so on the right, on the lifted leg, from the top of the pelvis, that space between the top of the pelvis and the right greater trochanter, can you soften and lengthen that space? When you do, when you soften and you lengthen the space between the top of the pelvis on the right and the top of the greater trochanter on the right and maybe the back of it, you might notice maybe the leg came closer towards your body, maybe even just a millimeter or so. Maybe you felt the greater trochanter move a little bit away from the top of the pelvis on the right, on the lifted leg. And then with your next exhale, start to take the right leg slowly towards the right. Keep the space between the top of the pelvis and the top of the greater trochanter long, spacious. Left inner thigh is toned, the leg on the floor. Keep the pelvis level. Go slow enough, even if you don't go very far, that you're still keeping your felt set present in the top of the pelvis to the greater trochanter. And then let's inhale, bring the leg back up to vertical. So you're going to switch hands on the strap. The left hand's going to come to the strap, right arm out to the side. And I'm still going to go right back into, I'm still in this space of the top of the pelvis and the top of the greater trochanter and the back of it on the right side. Lengthen that space. And then bring your right leg just a little bit closer to midline. Let's keep the top of the sacrum on the right is staying on the floor. I don't need to go very far. I'm just looking for some tissue change. And I might even notice some of the connective tissue that is going towards my outer right knee. I might notice that space. And I'm going to really nurture all that way from the pelvis to the greater trochanter and the right outer hip, greater trochanter, all the way to the outside of the right knee, past the right knee, towards the right outer ankle, and then we'll come back to vertical. Bend your knee, take your strap off. Let's take the right leg alongside the left leg. And then let's bend the right knee, put the right foot on the ground. Bring your left knee up, take your strap, put it right in front of the left heel. Reach the left leg up long. I like to hold on to my strap with both hands to start. And I like my arms to be straight so that I'm not using any muscles in my arms, or very little. I'm just really lengthening out my arms, lengthening out my leg. Then you can take the right leg straight out on the ground. Right inner thigh is toned. The right inner thigh is toning towards the inseam of the right leg. And then on the lifted leg from the top of the pelvis all the way to the greater trochanter, that space in there, can you soften it, lengthen it? Maybe when you lengthen that space between the top of the pelvis to the back and top of the greater trochanter, maybe your left leg moved even a millimeter closer to you, toward your body, towards your torso. Take another deep inhale. And with your next exhale, let's start to take your left leg slowly towards your left. Keep some attention on that space. Right inner thigh is still helping you stay grounded with your pelvis. I'm watching to see if I keep that space long. Top of the pelvis to the greater trochanter. Keep lengthening that out. Stay really strong in this leg that's on the floor. Really strong and steady on that side. Then let's take the leg back slowly to vertical. Still reaching strongly through the grounded leg. I'm going to change my hands. Left arm out to the side. Again, lengthening the space between the top of the pelvis on the left and the outer left hip. And I'm just going to cross the leg a little towards midline. And if I notice how I get some sensation that comes down the outer left leg towards the outer left knee. And I'm going to keep reaching out the outer left side of my, between that space between my thigh and my outer knee, the top of my outer left shin. Make that spacious as well. And then we'll inhale, lift the leg back to vertical. Take both hands to the strap. Let's keep the leg vertical for a moment. And strong on the leg on the floor. All right, then we'll bend the knee, take the strap off, and place the leg on the ground. So now both legs are resting. All right, and then we sit the strap off to the side. Let's bend both knees, put both feet on the floor. And now you're gonna take, okay, so listen carefully to this. You're gonna bring your right knee up toward your chest, and you're gonna take, you can take the right hand to the right outer knee, and then your left hand, so you're gonna turn the right outer knee towards the right and take your left hand to grab the little toe side of your right foot. Then, my right hand is not doing a lot, okay? My right hand, which is close to my right knee, is not doing a lot. My left hand has a hold of the little toe side, and I'm gonna make my right foot like it's standing on the ground. So it's not, the ankle isn't sickled at all. I'm gonna take my, my attention, my awareness back to that space between top of the pelvis on the right and the right outer hip. Lengthen it. And then I'm gonna start to bring my right thigh towards the midline of my body. Still lengthening from the top of the pelvis to the right outer hip. Even as I cross my right thigh towards the midline of my body, of my torso. Now the sacrum on the right is probably not on the floor. So the right sacrum has become light. And then I'll come back to center, and I'm gonna put the right foot back on the ground. So I got both feet on the ground. I'm just gonna rest for a moment. I'm interested in the space, the relationship of my pelvis and my right leg. All right, so on the left side, the left knee to the chest, and then you're gonna take right hand to the, it comes along the bottom of your foot and it grabs onto the little toe side of that foot. The left hand might just be kind of supporting the left knee. And then I'm gonna put your felt sense pelvis to the outer left hip and lengthen that space. Start to bring the left thigh toward your right It's going towards the midline. The left side of the sacrum is becoming lighter, but the, let's see if there's any other cue I can give you here. Let's see. The back of my knee, by the way, is not closed on this lifted side. I don't have the back of the knee closed. My shin and my knee are kind of at a 90-degree angle. And my foot, my left foot, is as if it's on the ground. It's a different side. It might feel really different. Then we'll come back to center and we'll put both feet back on the ground. Let's take the arms now, reach them up towards the sky and overhead, palms up towards the ceiling. Walk your feet apart a bit, so almost as wide as your yoga mat. And then drop the right knee toward the left ankle. And then we'll come back up. And let's drop the left knee towards the right ankle. Let's lengthen that left thigh all the way out towards the right big toe. And then we'll lift that one up. We'll walk the feet back to hip distance. Take the arms up to the ceiling and bring the arms and the legs toward each other like a little ball. Inhale, just take the knees a bit away. Exhale, hug them in one more time. Then we'll roll down to one side. Use the arms and push yourself up. And you're going to come all the way up to standing. So you come all the way up to standing. And let's see. Know where a blanket is because we're going to want a blanket in a bit. So you've got a blanket nearby. You know where your yoga blocks are. You've got those nearby too. You might bring them right out in front of you because you might need them when you bow forward. So standing in mountain pose. Let's inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Hands can come to blocks or the floor. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms overhead. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. I'm just going to go sideways in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Once again, inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. And exhale, step your right foot back. Can you put your blanket back there so that you'll have some cushioning in a moment? Because you're going to bring the back knee down to your blanket. And then on the front leg, So you can have your hands on blocks or hands on the ground. But on the front leg, release your pubic bone, your left pubic bone, away from your left inner thigh. Let the left pubic bone go away from the inner thigh. We might take blocks tall if you have them. It gives you a little more space. And back them up so that you're able to lift through the chest, lift through the top of the breastbone. So even as on the back leg, the top of the right thigh, as you release that towards the lower right thigh and the lower right thigh towards the knee, you're still lifting through the top of the breastbone. You might add a little tone to the upper inner thigh of the back leg. It's a little tone there. So it supports you. All right, and then we'll shift the blocks back forward, tuck the back toes under. There's your low lunge. Inhale, step forward. There's Uttanasana, bow forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, left leg back. So there's the lunge. Then you're going to lower the back knee. You might pull the blocks back so that you're gonna ask something different of your body as you pull the blocks back, right? You feel yourself find some change through the front leg. All right. So on the front leg, can you relax that space between the right pubic bone and the right inner thigh? On the back leg, even as the back upper thigh quad is lengthening, stretching, the back upper inner thigh, add a little tone there. Because as you do, you might feel yourself able to fountain upward a little more with the tone at the back leg, upper inner thigh. Lift the top of your breastbone. The psoas, if those of you that are interested there, is lengthening, but it's not completely let go. There has to be a little tone. And then you're going to press yourself back. And you're going to move your blocks forward. There's your low lunge. Let's step to Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog or puppy pose. You can move your blanket out of the way. In your downward dog pose, as you're strongly reaching from the shoulder blades to the upper arms, and from the upper arms all the way into your finger pads and your knuckles, you're broad across the upper back, and at the inner thigh, the pubic bones, typically we want to take them behind us. We're releasing them from the inner thighs. The pubic bone going back behind you. So that the spine can be long and lengthened. Then you're going to inhale to plank pose. Yeah, that's it. Still finger pads, knuckles, base of the skull, upper back. Inhale deeply in your plank. Feel that strength, the tone at the inner thighs. So you can isometrically, even as you draw the feet toward each other, you feel the inner thighs tone. And you're going to tone the inner thighs all the way to the inseam of the inner leg. And then touch your knees to the ground. Another deep inhale, and as you exhale, bring your chest down. Elbows go straight back. So legs are long on the ground. There's tone towards the inseam again, the inner thighs. And you're going to inhale to cobra. Exhale, lower. Forehead might touch down. Shoulders relax. Tone the inner thighs. We're going to do 2 more cobra poses. Inhale, cobra. Inner thighs have tone. Exhale, lower. Forehead touches. Shoulders can relax. When you're ready, inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Your inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog or puppy pose. Deep breathing. Can you balance your breath? If you're doing Ujjayi breathing, can you do the Ujjayi, the 1-to-1? If you're practicing your Samavriti breathing, can you do it balanced? With your next exhale, walk your hands towards your feet. Shift the hands to your hips. And your inhale, come all the way up. And your exhale, hands in front of your heart. Great. And then relax both arms. And I want to take warrior one. Warrior one. So in your warrior one, I'm going to go sideways. So maybe it shows up better. But in warrior one, go ahead and let's step your left foot back. So we're going to start with 2 straight legs. If you put your fingers on those 2 hip points, they're pointing straight ahead. So Anne, rather than cross your feet, make your feet hip distance. So take your left foot, Anne, more to your left and point straight towards me. Yeah, and turn your pelvis towards your computer. There, that's it, Anne. Yay! Great, yes, Bella, towards that, like that. Great. Okay, so your hip points are pointing straight ahead. The back foot has a very slight turnout. It's not a huge turnout, but it is turned out slightly. All right, so let's take the arms. Inhale, reach them all the way overhead. And exhale, as you bend your front knee, you're releasing your pubic bone away from the front inner thigh. So as the front knee bends, release the right upper inner adductor. On the back leg though, tone the back adductor. And then we'll step forward. Step your right leg back. Back foot has a slight turnout. Again, you're not standing on a balance beam, so your feet are hip distance. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, you bring your left shin forward, but the top of the left pubic bone is going, you let go of that. Don't hold it towards the left inner thigh. Tone the back inner thigh, lengthening. And then taking the arms wide, stepping forward. Inhale, lift both arms. And exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Shaking your head so you can release your neck. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale halfway up, lengthening the front of the spine. Exhale, bow forward. Releasing the head completely. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. Let's take side ankle pose. Step your feet wide apart. We'll get a little more length through the side body. So have a prop. We'll go to your right first. So a prop at the right outer shin ankle. Inhale the arms out when you're ready. Good. Back foot's turned in slightly. Front foot straight ahead. Good. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, here you go. Pelvis starts pointing to the back leg. So on the front leg, the inner thigh is it almost goes in two directions because the middle and the lower inner thigh reach toward the knee. And the upper inner thigh can reach on the front leg toward the pelvis. When you do that, can you feel yourself move away from your front leg and create more length at the upper heavenly side of your body up towards the sky? And then let's inhale, come up. And let's switch to the other side. When you're ready, arms out. And exhale, side ankle. So on the front leg, on the right, or your left leg, your front leg now. The middle and the lower inner thigh lengthen toward the knee. The upper is reaching toward the pelvis. You're breathing. That's it. That's it. Great. Great. Stay with it. Stay with it. And you might even try, Sandra, take a longer stance. Go a little longer between your feet. There you go. Now, and Sandra, lengthen your left inner knee a little deeper. Go the other way. There, keep going, keep going, keep going. There you go. Great. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. And inhale, come up. Cool. Make your feet parallel. It's fun. Hands on the hips. Yoga can be fun, you know? Let's lift through the top of the breastbone and exhale, bow forward. Wide-legged forward fold. Hands find the ground. Let's walk the hands out to downward dog arms and release the pubic bone back. Tone the inner thigh from the knees to the inner feet. And can you drop back into your breathing again? Can you go back into your balanced breath, either through Ujjayi or the Samavriti breathing? So that you're reaching all the way, the upper arms reach all the way to the hands, shoulder blades to the hands, reach them out there, even if they're on blocks. Make the spine long, release the pubic bone a little more. And I can't see your feet, Carol, but I'm curious if you take your feet a little wider. I want to just see what happens to your pelvis. Feet a little wider, there you go. And then just see, Carol, can the pubic bone go between the inner thighs? A little more. Can it release behind you, even as your spine reaches forward? Yeah, and then just lift the base of the skull a little bit, Carol, just a little. There you go. Yeah. Good. Great. Great, Anne. Great, great. Nice, nice. So many. Beautiful. And then go ahead and walk your hands back. Let's shift them up onto your hips. Take the shoulder blades toward your waist and inhale, come up. Cool. Wonderful. And then step your feet back together. So I want to do Warrior 3 with you. If you have a wall spot, you might really get more by having the hands on the wall for this one, because it's really demanding, right? The strength of the standing leg. So you're welcome to move to a place where you'll be able to have your hands at a wall. And if you don't, it's fine. You know, a wall, a counter. I might even use the back of a chair, because this whole door thing isn't really, that's what I think I'll do. I'm gonna use the back of this chair. Even though I'm not so keen on this height. So a wall spot is better than the back of a chair. But basically, if I had a wall in front of me, I take my arms there. So you would have both hands out at the wall. So both hands would go to the wall. We're gonna shift the weight to your right leg first. And just take the back toes on the ground. So there's a lot of strength in the standing leg on this pose. So on the right leg right now, draw the outer hip into the body. Tone the right inner thigh. Keep this right leg really strong as you pick up your left leg and bow the torso. If your hands are on the wall, you keep them out there. Some of us might have our hands on a chair, or maybe you're in the middle of the room and you're not using any prop. The straight leg, tone, tone, tone. Lift the back leg up, lift it from the inner thigh, lift that back leg. Yeah. Really reach out the back leg, lift it up and reach out the inseam of the back leg. Yes. Good. And then slowly come back up. Okay. And make sure if you're at the wall, give yourself enough space so that you'll be able to have straight arms. Okay. If you're using a wall, give yourself enough room so your arms will be straight, so you won't be you know, kind of leaning into that, you're really lengthening. Should we take the second side? So you shift the weight to the left, and we can just take the right toes on the floor. Draw the left outer hip in. Tone the left inner thigh towards the inseam of the leg. Arms are either on the wall. If you're in the middle of the room, they might be out to the side. And then start to pick up the back leg. So that the standing leg is stable, strong, and then the lifted leg is long. So on the lifted leg, reach all the way out the inseam and out the ball of the lifted foot. Reach out the whole leg. Yeah. Yeah, feel all that length and strength from the stability of the standing leg and the lifted leg really reaching back. Strong, strong leg. Good. And then slowly back up. Nice. Yeah. Take a wide stance. Hands on the hips. And you're gonna fold forward again. And let's bring the hands now, they're right under, they start out under the shoulders. You might walk them a little between towards the feet, but let's keep the chest lifted. Lift through the top of the breastbone. And then we're gonna exhale, bow forward. You can walk the hands maybe between the feet. Hip bones go broad apart. Tone all the way from the inner knees to the inner foot. Great, and then walk your hands back out. You can step your feet together or hop them together and bring your knees to the ground. So now you're down on the floor. And we're gonna take Ardha Matsyendrasana 3. So if you will, go ahead and sit on a block. You might wanna have a blanket available. Let me place to the ground again. So that you might sit up on your block. We'll take your right leg straight. And some of us like having a little support under the right knee if we're a hyperextending legs. My other block I'm going to have off to my left. All right. So I'm going to be turning to the left. So you might embrace your knee, or you might come to the outside of the knee as you turn towards your left. Can you bring your felt sense, your attention into the space between the top of the pelvis on the right and the greater trochanter on the right, and lengthen that space? When you lengthen that space, did you feel yourself maybe find more of a turn? All right, let's release that. And we'll take the second side. Left leg straight, right knee bent. And we're twisting towards your right. And again, from the pelvis, the crest of the pelvis on the left to the top of the left outer hip, can you lengthen that space? Great, and then go ahead and come back around. Now, can you take your move your right foot away from your body a little and bring your left heel towards your right sit bone. And bring this knee all the way towards midline. So you slide it to midline. I have my blanket handy. And because what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my other leg and bring it across the top. So now I've got Gomukhasana legs. Yeah, Gomukhasana legs. Yeah, you've got this leg is touching the ground. My knees are stacked as much as they can be. Okay. So for some of you, the block is going to be the right height because you'll need that height. Some of you might see about moving the block or sitting on a blanket. Just experimenting there. And again, the space between the top of the pelvis on the right and the right outer hip. Can you put your awareness there and really soften that area? All right. Shall we try our other side? One way to get into it would be, I could take, if I'm not on my block, I could get my block again. And I could put it under my pelvis. And I'm going to unwrap the top leg. And then I'm going to bring the right heel towards the left sit bone. I'm going to bring the knee towards midline. And then I'm going to cross the other one over. Now you can take your feet a little wider apart. They don't have to be, that bottom leg doesn't have to be tucked way in. You can move it out if that's more comfortable. Some of you will want to stay on the block. Some of you might come off your block and you might either sit on a blanket or you might sit on the floor. So there's a different side. You might have noticed that already. Yes, indeed it is. All right. Then if you're sitting on the ground, you can go ahead and undo your legs. If you're sitting on the block, you'll undo them, but you'll also come off of your block because we're going to take both legs straight. So we have both legs straight. And we can take the hands behind us to help us be able to sit up tall. And start to reach from the inner thighs all the way out to the inner heels. And lift through the top of the breastbone. Okay, and let's relax that. I want to do an upper back opener. So let's take, for example, if you have a large bolster, you could use a bolster on top of 2 blocks. Or you might take 2 blocks end to end, put a blanket on there. When I come back, I'm going to put I might do one more blanket Let's see. I'm going to put my hands behind my head. Open my upper back. And straighten my legs. So some of you, if that's too hard on your neck, you'll slide a little extra spacer for under the back of the neck. That feels pretty good. And we'll probably, if it's okay, you'll either take the arms out to the side, whoops, or overhead. And I'm gonna also lengthen out my legs, inner thighs toward the inner feet. So arms, they're either behind your head, they might be overhead. I'm going to bring my palms toward each other, clasp my hands. Keep reaching out the legs. Lengthening all the way out, the inner thigh, the inner knee, to the inner foot. And then I'll bring my hands back behind my neck, bend both knees. Lift the head to the chest. Reach the arms out, straighten one leg, and come up to sitting. All right. Then let's take your little stack that you've got there. It'll be off to your left side. We're going to use it for a supported twist so that when you come down, excuse me, on your back in a moment, and you've got that little stack off to the left. Let's see, let me see which version. Let's do this version where we're going to take the hips a little away, straighten the left leg, and cross over. So that the right shin is going to be supported. I'm on the left side of my hip, and my right arm is out to the side. And once you're there, I'd like you to tone your left inner thigh. Bring some tone to the left inner thigh. Can you drop back into the presence of your breath? When you have the tone at the left inner thigh, what happens to that space between the top of the pelvis on the right and the right outer hip? And then we're going to come back to center. You can either turn your body around to face the other direction or move your props, whatever is easiest. They're on your right side, arms out wide. You shift the hips a little bit away, straighten the right leg, and bring the left shin, knee, ankle over to the support. Tone the right inner thigh. Deep breathing. And then let's come back to center. Move the hips and back into midline. Knees are bent, feet on the ground. And then you're going to take this to Shavasana. Whatever is a comfortable Shavasana for you. Whether you use that little stack, go under the legs, or what is comfortable for coming down to resting. And even as you let go of the base of the tongue, and simply allowing your body to rest down into the support beneath you. And giving your body this gift of surrender. The body, the mind, the spirit, all able to be one. So just for the next few moments, the muscles can relax away from the bones. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just this. allowing your breath to deepen. And just feeling that blessing of all the things that come together, mesh together, breathe together in order for you to take that next breath of air. You can begin to awaken your body to movement. And make a mindful transition over to one side and pause on your side for a moment. Use the support of your arms to come back up to sitting. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you. I'm going to shut off this recording. If there's anything you want to say after that, you're welcome to.